Okay, ready to go?
I'll just, we are live.
Okay, I'm going to do some homework here, mate. I'll just with the fuck Harley. Hang on. I'll just put a link to the new thing on the chat thing. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to have two streams fucking going. You know that, don't you?
No, don't worry.
Yeah. One watching. 1 sec. That's us there. Hey, okay. 1 second.
Come back later. Don't smoke.
Where's the other one? Didn't cast the other one, did you?
The other what?
Adrian's one that's not going to come on. 1 second. Let me get there. I'm just going to put a link to tell everybody where we are.
Well, I think people are finding it. We got Daniel Berry. Is
11 fucking watching. Oh my fucking god! Hang on a second, mate. Yeah. Oh, I forgot we're live. I better not say anything nasty.
No, we are live.
Where'd the other fucking one go?
I didn't see the other one. Oh, that was just I don't know what that was.
Oh, Banana. G'day, Banana.
Hey, Steve. Yeah.
There you go. We
just trying to start the stream. Get the stream going.
Oh, it's too late, mate. We started up another one.
I had to log in and get a new code, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Oh, well. Could somebody put a link to this one on the old one at all? Do you know where it's gone, Steve? I can't fucking find it.
Yeah, I can find it. Hold on.
Just give me a link to this one here. Copy the link up the top. See where it says.
Hold on. Wait. I haven't got us on YouTube. I'm only on. Am I on YouTube or StreamYards? Hold on.
Hang on.
No, I'm on StreamYards.
Browser. 1 second. Give us a second, mate.
Yeah, I'm not home yet, Steve. Fucked up, man. I got called out. I've been called out. Yeah.
Adrian, we're live now. Everybody can hear what you're saying.
Been called out. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Friday night, Steve, and like shit happens, you know.
On
a Friday night. Friday night's when shit happens.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. How's Steve? How's Mr. Perrin?
Hold on.
Is that?
I'm just gonna.
Hang on a second, Aiden. We're trying to do some shit. Where's that old fucking stream?
Is that Mr. Perrin there on board?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I know how to get to it. I'll go to
Steve, look, Clarky, Steve.
Yeah, mate, hang on.
Too many Steves here. Steve, I might have to leave you to it, and I hope someone else comes on to replace me. TT,
it'll be all right, mate.
Where's Thailand Tim has to come on?
Hiding, I suppose.
I think Thailand Tim has to come on.
Yeah, okay.
I've had a little bit of fortunes tonight, and I've overdone myself. To be honest, is what's happened.
Just need you to do something, Adrian, quickly. When we set it all up, can you cancel the other one? Can you do that from where you are?
I have to do it when I get home, mate. This phone, I can't. I had to log in and get a new fucking code, man. Like on my phone, it was fucked. Yeah, I'll do it when I get home. Yeah, I will.
All right, man. No worries.
Yeah.
There's a problem. Okay.
Bratwurst sausages.
Okay, what have we got? 280. Jesus. Hey?
Go inside. We'll go inside. We can do a gambling room stream, probably. I don't know.
Okay. All right, hang on. I'll put the link up, Steve, so they should all start coming over to here.
Yeah, I saw that. That should work. And all we need now is the link to join the show. I can't remember how to do that, to be honest.
Well, all's we got in here, actually, I'm going home now, Steve. All's we got in here is like a bunch of Solomon Islander workers, you know, gambling all their fruit picking money away.
No worries, mate.
I've already gambled enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a major jackpot, so I'll talk to you when I get home, mate. I'll go back on when I get home.
No worries. Yeah, cool bananas. Oh, cool bananas.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's done. All right, that's done. All right. But don't forget to cancel when you get home, though, Adrian. All right. Get it off. Just delete the fucking thing. All right. Don't delete our stream. Is he gone or what?
I don't know, Stephen.
Okay. I'll kick him off.
It's
I'll kick him off. Yeah, he's gone. All right. So I got over there. So we're fixed. All right. So we can start the stream. Johnny wants to come on, so I'll give him a link. Okay.
Yeah. If you remember how, put the link at the top as well.
Yeah. All right. I'll give Johnny the link. I think that's to come on.
I know how to do it. Hold on.
You do? Can you call me Grasshopper?
Yeah. You put that one in first. Copy that. Put that in there.
All right.
Paste that. That's a StreamYard link.
But yeah. All right. Anyways,
and then go back in again. And go up there. Switch account. There we go. There we go. Then we go in there.
Okay.
Oh, you've already done it, have you?
I don't know what I'm doing, mate. I really don't. Yeah. All right, we're pretty. Yeah, I've put it in the old one, so that's fine. It can knock that off. So what else do you need to do? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we had a bit of a problem here, so we're just trying to fix it. We'll be with you shortly. We start up a stream,
Okay.
but it
with a bit of luck,
happened.
it should be at the top now.
Oh, the link. All right, I'll get all the. Okay.
But I can't see it.
1 second.
God, we are. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah. You got to do that on YouTube. All right,
I've got it.
That's fixed.
All right.
All right. Okay, that one there. Turn off the volume off. Yeah, the link's up there, mate. Let me do. Yeah, that's okay.
I'll tell you what, Stephen.
That's a link to come on, isn't it? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is nothing like riding a bike. If you don't play around with it for...
yeah.
I don't think I've played with this for 4 months. Maybe more. Maybe 6 months.
Mm.
And you forget all the things you have to tick. Whatever.
I haven't done it for 2 or 3 years, mate.
All right. Well, your memory's better than mine. I mean, it's been...
yeah.
I would bet at least 4 months. Probably closer because time flies. Probably closer
I went in there
to 6 months.
I went in there to join the stream, Steve. There's just no fucking stream there. That was weird.
Yeah, that was a problem, wasn't it? It was like, what?
Yeah, I thought the bill wasn't paid or something. Well, apparently it's okay, but I don't know. I'll talk to you later what the problem was.
Well, I sorted it out. It was, I hadn't put a destination in there.
Oh, right.
That was the thing. Anyway,
okay.
So let's all calm down. Welcome everybody in the chat. How the devil are you, Stephen?
Oh, pretty good, mate. Haven't seen you for a long time. What's happening?
Uh,
Better say hello to the chat, eh? Let's go to the chat. January sports highlights. G'day, mate. We've got Hector Jaminet. Oh, I can't even say that one. Yeah, okay. Andy Bangkok Travel. G'day, Andy. Good old Andy. JJ, there he is, the man. Tan the man. G'day. Be More Ron. G'day, Be More Ron. That's about it. Okay, let's go. All right. All fixed.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Well, as you know, I've just got back from the UK.
Hmm.
And I'm still on UK time after over a week. It's ridiculous. And the reason is because when you're retired, it's very easy to sleep when you feel like sleeping.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to sleep at the same time as I would do normally in the UK. In the UK now, what is it? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. So I'm wide awake. And I'm not going to sleep until 4 o'clock in the morning. And I guess it is called jet lag. But I think it's just the fact that when you're working, you have to sort of force yourself to get back into the normal system of sleep, get up for work, whatever. Well, I'm retired. I'm free to do whatever I want. But it's fucking up my sleeping.
Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah. Took me a long time to, when I come back from Thailand, when I arrived back in Australia, it took me a long time to adjust. You know, because I'd done it for 10 years on Thai time, you know. And I never used to sleep during the day, you know, because I'd just go to bed when I dropped dead type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have my afternoon nap now. I'm not so cranky, you know what I mean? Okay, where's this Johnny Siam guy? What happened there? Oh. I turned off the camera, mate. You don't want to look at my horrible head, do you?
I think you're a very attractive man, Stephen.
Keep your eyes to yourself.
Yeah. Johnny Siam's put a fire in the chat. I don't know what that means. Having a cigarette or starting a barbecue?
He might be lighting his farts or something.
I don't know.
Cigarette lighter on his bum. Yeah. Okay. How's the water situation going there in Thailand, Steve? Mr. Parrott?
Where my house is a really lovely place to avoid floods because all around us there's a really good canal. So even if it gets horrendous, I think the house I'm in now will be fine. The old house floods every 7 or 8 years, but not really serious. About 2 foot of water. It's pretty horrendous going through it and living it, but our old house is a 2-story house, whereas this is a bungalow. It's a 2-story house, so at the very worst, we just move upstairs for a couple of days. You don't stay there too long. We've got a boat here. I bought a boat here just for playing on in the pond.
I've seen that, yeah.
And I've got the father-in-law's got a boat at the old house.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they used to sort of protect Bangkok and just flood us and stop the water going to Bangkok. I don't know whether they're still doing it because my city, perhaps all the cities around, are possibly getting a bit more power now. We've become a sort of suburb of Bangkok. So there's sort of, what would you say, influential people live here. And I would guess they'll probably turn around and say, don't flood us. If the water's going to Bangkok or whatever, flood them. I don't know. I'm just surmising, total guess.
You can't flood Bangkok.
Well, that's not what Andy Bangkok says. He had a horrendous time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I spoke to him a lot about that in the past, and Jesus, that was bad, wasn't it? I think there was 2 million baht damage to his place. I think he said, something like that.
Yeah,
it's terrible, really. Oh, Andy's not going to come on tonight because he's got his family visiting from England, so he's looking after family first, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, he might pop in for a minute, I suppose. I don't know. See what happens. But anyway, that's it. So apparently the South's getting flooded right out now. South
Really?
of Thailand, yeah, they're copping it pretty bad down south. Yeah. I've got a lot of friends all over Thailand, and they sometimes they send you pictures and stuff like that. And Jesus Christ, woo. Steve Anderson, there you go, mate. That's annoying when I do that, isn't it? There's Steve Anderson.
I'm still in under WhatsApp Thailand. Let me change back to who I really am.
What are you doing?
I'm commenting as WhatsApp Thailand when I want to comment.
You got to do it on YouTube.
You have to go in and to get it pinned at the top. You have to go in as WhatsApp Thailand.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you don't have the authority to. You don't have the authority to do that.
Oh, you're telling me stuff I don't know. I've got all the shit. I suppose, yeah. Oh.
So, talking about flooding, have you been watching all the Florida hurricane Milton?
No, I haven't. No, it's pretty bad, is it? Oh, I said a little bit. They reckon it's the worst in history or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, that's what they said before it happened. Because I think the mainstream media, this is not controversial at all, but I think the mainstream media want us to all get worried about the weather. So we all buy electric cars, windmills, solar energy, and spend a fortune on shit and get rid of all our petrol cars so that then it generates money for all the car companies that are producing electric cars.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
So they've built up. No, it's not. I don't think the weather is any worse than it was at any time in history.
I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day, Steve.
Go on.
Here in Tasmania, there was times when the heat was unbearable, and I haven't seen this in the 3 or 4 years I've been living here. It's not got super hot, but we used to get a lot of that. And the cold weather down here is pretty fucking cold at the moment. I mean, even Johnny will tell you where he lives. In Victoria, it's pretty fucking cold. So
yeah, but you're looking at you say 4 years. Let's say 20 years. It's still a blink of an eye in the history of the history of weather. When you think most of the weather is caused by the heat of the sun, which is nuclear. I can't remember the way. It's not nuclear fusion, and it's going to vary. It's going to be different in different years, different times, probably different seconds of the day. And I think it's all down to the sun is perhaps a little bit more aggressive than it was, changeable. I think it's all bollocks. I really do. Now, that might be an old man talking, but I think it's a total load of bollocks. I mean, in England, I can remember seeing photos of the Thames frozen.
Yeah.
The Thames is a big river running from London.
Yeah, I know, we know. It's quite, everybody knows what the Thames is.
Yeah. Absolutely frozen. People ice skating on it. And that, not too long ago, 100 years ago, maybe less. We haven't had that for 100 years. So we haven't had the cold break. Now, let's face it. And they're also so outrageous. And if we don't stop producing cars or affecting the climate, man-made affecting the climate, we've only got 20 years left. And that's it. Well, no, people said that in what the American guy that was running for president, I think, Al Gore. Al Gore was saying in 1980, you got 30 years left.
Hey, what Al Gore? 1 second, Steve. Can I put in here? I supplied him with the makeup when he was going for what do you call it? The presidency. I supplied the makeup to him when back in
Wow.
Al Gore.
Yeah?
Serious, no joke. Yeah, Al Gore.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I know you heavily.
So every
involved.
time you see him on fucking TV, he was wearing my makeup.
He did look like he wore a lot of makeup, though.
it was courtesy of Stephen Clark.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is name dropping, definitely.
I'm just a loser, mate. You know, I never amounted to much. But anyway,
We got something. Harry Kane, welcome. I'm trying to think who Harry Kane is.
there's a subject there. This okay, what have we got here? Have you heard of cloud seeding? Yes, we've heard of cloud seeding. They actually do that in Thailand. The king, they've got a special unit that does the drops the these are tin foil they drop. I can't remember now. Aluminium foil, don't they? Strips, and they drop it in the cloud. If it works or not, I don't know. But there's a whole
Hector.
plane and shit to be dedicated to that. Yeah.
I thought it was some sort of ice they dropped in. Dry ice or whatever.
I've got no idea, man.
But they do it all the time.
Aluminium works.
In Dubai, they do it all the time. It costs them millions, but they do it all the time. Yeah, to keep everything a bit greener in Dubai. So they're always feeding the feeder, and it's a horrendous cost. But you know, places like Dubai have so much money, they don't care. Hector, no. What did they do in Vietnam? I'm guessing you mean Vietnam in the 60s. Are you talking about weather or? I mean, the 60s was Vietnam, wasn't it?
Harry Kane, yeah, the Thai Royal Rainmaking Project, something like that, yeah.
Harry Kane, that's from the movie Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. I'm trying to think of the name of the actor that played it.
Who's that?
Orson Welles. Orson Welles.
I beat you to it. I got the fucking fight. I beat you then.
You did. I've got delay on here. I was actually 5 seconds before you, but
no, you wasn't. Don't lie to me.
There's more of a delay in Thailand. I'm just pleased when I remember stuff. Harry Kane. Who was Harry Kane? And when I saw the name, I thought, I know that. It's not Michael Caine. Harry Kane, movie, classic movie, Citizen Kane. We could be totally wrong. He could be. I don't know.
Did you read Graham?
What's Graham say?
Have a look.
Hello, Graham.
Yeah. G'day, Graham.
At the end of it, we'll say, do you remember, Graham, they used to say at the end of it, and it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from him.
Yeah. What a bad show, that.
It's very clever. Ronnie Bar, I mean, I think they're both. Oh, he's backstage. Hold on.
Oh, shit. G'day, John. How you going?
Hello, gents. How are you?
How long were you sitting there for?
Oh, 3 hours.
An hour. 3 hours? Oh, fuck. Sorry, mate. We only check it every 2 hours.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, I went out and had a quick smoke, and then I thought to myself, oh, yeah no really? Worries. Then I've been sitting here for the last half an hour, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I haven't done it.
I didn't hear, look, I didn't hear the doot go off. So
I don't think it does anymore. It just.
And I watch it on YouTube. I don't watch it on StreamYard. I watch it on YouTube. So that's the problem.
Oh, I watch both. Anyhow.
What, at the same time?
Yeah.
What, you have
two screens.
You've got to. Bloody hell, Johnny. I could do that, but I can't remember how to do that either.
Right, so what's the topic of the day?
Well, we haven't really got one yet. This is just like the sort of prelude. to the interesting stuff.
I thought you were going to talk about the potential job in Pattaya.
Go on. Go on. I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm all ears.
Well, on one of the news outlets from Pattaya.
Oh yes, yeah. Can you feed that up, Mr. Clark? Have you got it all set up, or Stephen? Are you still there?
He's gone to sleep.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Muted.
Okay.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Let me try and find it. I'm going to do present.
What years, Johnny?
Video file. And then we just want
Harry Kane cut to a commercial. That might be a good idea. This segment was brought to you by.
We'll get there, mate. We'll get there.
Let's try this. No, we don't want that one. Hold on. No, cancel that.
This segment's brought to you by Hestia. Hestia makes
about 3 years I've done this shit, John. That's 3 years.
Yeah,
so I went on
Hestia
with him. I didn't do anything there. I just had the buttons. Just went on and broadcast. I didn't really set up. Can't remember half the shit.
Anyhow, getting back to this Hestia, a group of businessmen. They were making undergarments, predominantly bras and things like that. And they said, "Well, what are we going to call the company?" And one bright chap said, "Hestia." Now they said, "That sounds okay, but what's it stand for?" He says, "Holds every size tit in Australia."
Not bad. Yeah. Right. So the thing is, John, why do people go to Pattaya? You know, they get off the plane, go straight to Pattaya, and
I don't know.
Is it the culture, or is it the culture? Do you think?
I think it's probably the golf or the tennis, because they've got good golf courses and tennis courts.
Oh, yeah. A lot of my friends come over from Australia. About 10
and
of them
the temples,
over, the old mates.
Don't forget the temples.
Yeah, that's where you get your shoes from. About 10 of them come over on a trip once a year. When I'm in Thailand, I go down and see them, and they all play golf, John.
Yeah.
They play golf and play ball in the fucking bars. God.
You know, the one thing about it, it's not the only place that's has an allure in Thailand. There's a lot of things, but each to their own. I don't ridicule anybody. What they want to do is their business. It's got nothing to do with me.
No, of course.
But remembering Pattaya started off as an R&R place, really at in the Korean War. Then Vietnam.
I think it was Vietnam, John.
Towards the end of Korea and then Vietnam.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to debate it.
But and don't forget up north they had a US Army base. I think it's still there.
That one's Utopia is the American one, or Utopia. They've just upgraded it to take whatever. Blah blah blah. Where was the other one at the top?
That was around Udon Thani, around that area.
25-year-old fainted up for police this week of a man who snatched her underwear from a communal balcony, only to take in the aroma. The phantom knicker sniffer is being sought, and police are taking it seriously, after similar complaints in many other buildings. There is CCTV available, and the police hope to catch the thief very soon.
See the way she butts in, doesn't introduce herself?
Sorry, gentlemen.
It's okay, Steve. Yes. Go on, Steve. Go on.
I didn't know that it was going to start playing as soon as I introduced it. But
that's fair enough.
This is Tina, our new news lady, that will give little reports on stuff that's happened. I'm just going to play it again because that was a bit rude of me to play it while people were talking. So let's just go through it one more time.
Knicker sniffer wanted. There you go. There's a job.
25-year-old female complained to Narkla police this week of a man who snatched her underwear from a communal balcony, only to take in the aroma. The phantom knicker sniffer is being sought, and police are taking it seriously, after similar complaints in many other buildings. There is CCTV available, and the police hope to catch the thief very soon.
Well,
There you go.
That is disgusting, Steve. You're stealing ladies' knickers.
Well, they have actually caught the news today. That news was about 2-3 days ago. And the news today is that they have actually caught the knicker sniffer.
The perpetrator.
Yeah, and he was dobbed in, given into the police by his family. So they've caught him. So the job isn't there anymore.
Yeah, well, you know, he's going to be a legend if he goes to jail.
What was he, a foreigner or Thai?
Well, surprisingly, Johnny, he wasn't who we thought it was. It was a Thai.
Well, the thing is, when I saw that, I one person came to mind.
Shut up, John.
How are you going, Jürgen?
Oh, there he is.
But no, they did on the news. They said he was a petty criminal who was out on bail or probation for several pickpocketing offences. So anyway, they caught him.
Yeah. Can I tell a quick story? I was on a bus when I was only about 18, right? And just had an episode with a young lady or whatever. And I don't know, I played around with the knickers and I put them in my pocket of my coat. So I've got hay fever, right? I had it bad when I was young. So I'm on the bus and my nose starts dripping. So I pulled out my hanky and blew my nose. It wasn't the hanky, it was the knickers, and everybody's looking at me. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That actually happened. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, really, Stephen.
I'd suggest, Steve, that we're moving right along.
Yeah. How are we going with that bus fire? I've been on a bus that caught on fire once when I was a kid again. And
not supposed to light the seats.
Yeah. They were trying to get it. Well, I think the motor caught on fire. I'm not sure. Can't remember, John. And they were running, and when my brother was alive, he was with me, and some guy was pushing everybody out the road to get out first. My brother turned around and jogged him in the nose. I remember that. I was only about 10 or 11 there. But look at the horror of that bus smash. God.
Well,
terrible thing.
The analysing afterwards, it had 11 gas tanks in it when it was only supposed to have 5, I think, and the pipe work had been damaged from baggage and things like that. So, it was just a recipe for disaster.
How many died in that again? Was it 22 or something? 25 or 22?
20 something, yeah. All kids. All kids that had the rest of their lives ahead of them.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
But the one thing that I did think was good, that I suppose because of the nature of it, the person who gave it the certificate of roadworthiness type of thing for, the mechanical checks and things like that, they was stood down. And a couple of others in different departments, it was their job to check all that kind of stuff to make sure it was, right. They all got stood down pending an investigation.
I just hope, John, it doesn't get all swept under the carpet.
Oh, like the Red Bull incident.
Yeah, what about the girl that killed all those people on the freeway? millionaire's daughter, and she's making a phone call and laughing and carrying on after everybody's been killed. Oh, that was incredible. And she lost her license, apparently.
Oh, wow. Geez, that's a punishment.
She was drunk.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Oh, yeah, allegedly. But, yeah, there's all sorts of things that happen like that in Thailand. If you got the money, you can do a lot of nasty shit.
Well, you know, the Red Bull chap, he proved that money does talk. And different countries, different laws. So he just kind of disappeared for a while. And when he got back, they said, well...
But he didn't disappear, John. He was in Thailand going around with his jet and shit. And then he was in... And Interpol had blah, blah, but Chinachal let him go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I say, money talks.
Yeah. Did Red Bull actually start in Thailand? Or is
yes,
I think
yes.
so, Stephen. And they're why they're so popular and so big is because they're into Formula One. They've got a whole factory in I can't remember the name of the country. The whole factory full on making Formula One cars.
Well, they do another thing where they fly really maneuverable aeroplanes, and you know they'll land on a circle on top of a building, an aeroplane.
Yeah, that aeroplane, Mike Petty of Petty Aviation, he modified a Cub for that actual stunt.
Right.
And that was all sponsored by Red Bull, and it was done in Dubai, on the Twin Towers. Yeah. That was a very good stunt. I watched quite a bit of that because Mike Petty, I've watched a lot of the stuff he's done over the years. But yeah, Red Bull was actually, he was a pharmacist. The bloke that came up with the recipe was a pharmacist, a Thai pharmacist.
Well, yeah, I could go up to the supermarket now, John, and buy Red Bull. Red Bull's all over the frigging world. It must be raking it in. Well, not many people know it's Thai, though.
Well, that was the original, and still he kept hold of his secret recipe, I suppose, like Colonel Sanders, you know, secret recipe.
Oh, dear.
Well, it's a little bit like... I doubt I bet if you went to England and America, I'm not sure about Australia, I think they're close, so they might know more. But I bet if you asked 10 people in the street, where do you think Red Bull was invented? You'd be lucky if 1 out of 10 said Thailand.
Well, most of them would say America, USA.
Yeah. It's similar with Tiger Woods. There aren't, I mean, people who follow golf and whatever and know his story, but most people wouldn't know he's half American and half Thai.
That's correct. Vietnam War.
Yeah. And that's why he always, while he was fit, I mean, he's getting a bit old now and injury problems, but he always played in the Bangkok Open and always spent time out here. I don't know what his mother did, because he does seem to be it does seem like he was brought up by his father, who at 3 years old had him practicing golf. It's just unbelievable. And not only that, but when he was a bit older, to stop him suffering from disturbances, he'd bang a drum or something just in the middle of his shot. Bit like the Venus Williams father. I haven't watched the movie with that guy in it, but apparently the father was the same. Push the girls, push the twins to play. Well, sisters rather, to play tennis.
Yeah, I suppose there are parents that relive their childhood through their kids. I suppose that's the best way to put it, isn't it?
But is it a bad thing? I don't know. It's. I would love my dad to have been a golf professional. God. And to have taught me how to play golf when I was 6 years old. That would be my dream job. But he wasn't.
Well, actually, Wimbledon has this year cut out the linesmen, the lines people.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that news today.
Gone full electronic.
Have they actually said that's what they're going to do? I thought it was just an idea.
No, they said they've been testing it for quite a while, and now the line judges are out of work.
Oh.
So they're probably on the dole on the unemployment benefits line instead of the tennis court line.
Yeah. So you'll never again get somebody like McEnroe saying, "You cannot be serious."
Oh.
Now, I love watching McEnroe.
Oh yeah, but you know that's probably where you can't handle the truth.
No, okay.
G'day, Debs.
If McEnroe was playing somebody, were you on his side or the other man's side? Generally.
I like McEnroe, and his tantrums were a part of his game. It's upset the other player.
Yeah, a lot of them are copying that, John. They're copying what McEnroe did in the latest stuff.
Yeah, you know. Like I say, part of his game. Because when you really watched it, you say, "Oh, spoiled brat with a tantrum." But when you really watched it, the tantrums came at the right time to upset the game and his opponent's concentration.
Hey, Debs.
But can I just say a big thank you to Harry Kane? Harry Kane, I could not agree more. I absolutely hate VAR. It's genuinely spoiled football for me.
What's VAR?
VAR video. Harry will put me on. I think it's video something refereeing. So all they're doing is do like they do in some rugby games, is that if somebody's offside or there's a foul on somebody, the referee can go and watch it back on a TV to see in slow motion exactly what happened.
Oh, but wouldn't you think that'd absolutely fuck a game? I think doing shit like
Here
that.
they do it. They do it here on stuff.
Do they?
The umpires call for the big screen, and when you're saying, the screen for a replay, and they slow the ball down going through a goal to make sure it is a goal and things like that if it's too close to call. Yeah. And then the umpire makes the decision. But realistically, umpires are human, so sometimes they make bad decisions. Sometimes you get paid to make a decision.
I think that is all part of the game.
Exactly.
It's all part of the entertainment. So that when you finish a game and you've lost 1-0 to a bad referee decision, excuse me,
you've got an excuse.
From the game, and you're up here having a moan with your mates, and you're fucking referee, and the crap. I mean, the names referees are called. When I used to go and watch it regularly, I mean, not just doubting their parenthood, but ridiculous. But that was all part of the fun, the excitement, the adrenaline of it all. And VAR has just totally spoiled that. And I think it'll do the same in tennis. You won't get the arguments and.
Well, they probably will, because like even then on the television, you go back years ago, that somebody had challenged that call, and they bring it up on the TV of where the ball hit in the court.
Well, no, I don't mind because they do that on TV already with the Wimbledon line shows, and that actually works because it's done really quickly, and it's quite exciting to see the video replay in tennis where the ball's going over and it's going to, and it's a centimetre on the line, and that's in. So I don't mind that, but and I don't know. Do they do it in? They do it in cricket as well, don't they?
Yeah, cricket. I think every game, virtually every game's got a video reference to it.
I think cricket you can understand. It's. I'm not saying anything bad about cricket. I quite like cricket, but it's a fairly slow game. So if you stop for a minute or two to check it, not really a big thing. But in football, it's such a fast game. When it's stopped and the guys can even go off and have a drink while the referee's looking at the camera, I think it's horrible.
Well,
absolutely horrible.
Like I say, here they do it on the big screens on at the arenas. And everybody in the arena can see the replay.
Yeah.
It's no little TV in a corner somewhere he's got to go off to watch it, because really that is normal everyday TV coverage of the game. They just slow that bit down so they can make a decision.
Okay, let me give you one more football example because Harry Kane is my brother from another mother.
Poor bugger.
Best example is I can't remember the year because I'm not a football expert, but Argentina played England, and Maradona had a goal which was called the Hand of God, where it looked as if he headed it in, but he actually punched the ball in to the net. It's the most, if you're into football and you're English or Argentine, this is probably one of the most memorable goals ever.
How can it be a goal if he used his hand?
Because the referee didn't see it. It was deemed a good goal. The referee never saw the hand of, because why it's called the Hand of God. Maradona was asked, "Did you? Was it your hand?" And he said it was the hand of God.
Hallelujah.
I don't know if you're getting my point. I think Harry understands. That goal is probably one of the most memorable goals I've ever seen in my life. It's part of the fun of football.
Cheating.
Doesn't matter. It's still a memorable experience. Maybe it's just me, but no. I mean, if VAR had been there, maybe England would have gone through. I really don't know, but still memorable.
Anyway,
I've been drinking too much.
Koh Samui's got voted the best beaches in Thailand.
Koh Samui.
That's next to the Death Island, whatever they call it. They call it Killer. Yeah.
Koh Samui. Oh, you say you're talking about Koh Tao?
No, Koh Samui. Next to it.
Yeah. Okay. So
best beaches in Thailand, got the award, cleanest and stuff like that.
Well, that's wonderful.
They'd have bodies in the water and everything, wouldn't they?
No, sharks.
Koh Tao. Yeah.
But
there was two British tourists. Koh Tao, isn't it called, John? It's Koh Tao.
Koh Tao, yeah.
Koh Tao. I remember years ago. I think we were doing Talkback Thailand in those days.
Yep.
When the two British tourists got killed. I might have been before that, John. And,
no, it was then. We were doing it then. I remember the story well.
They put the photos up of the actual crime, and seeing this young girl with her head bashed in and stuff like that, it was horrific. And I felt sick, looking.
G'day, Robert. Welcome.
On the news and stuff, and they don't do that anymore. They blur out the things. But anyway, But so there's Koh Tao for you. But yeah, got the most exotic beach, best cleanest beach in Thailand.
Well, you know, the
I'm just reading out headlines here, John. I've just gone onto the news and stuff.
Well, that's okay. I was just going to say that a lot of the islands are virtually just about privately owned, you know. So, you know, they have staff cleaning the beaches and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the dirtier beaches aren't, well, they're cleaning up somebody else's mess that's washed in from somewhere else, you know, because a lot of drains do run into the Gulf. And depending on
opposition MP. Oh, yeah, sorry, go on, man.
Yeah, it just depends which way the tides run or, you know, the weather's going. So, which, you know, where the rubbish ends up. Instead of it starting off being put in a bin, which is another problem. There's never enough bins in Thailand. You look for a bin and you've got to bloody well look for one.
G'day, Andy. Here you go. Yeah, opposition MP cleared of royal defamation. Ooh.
Defamation. Occasion.
Yeah, defamation, yeah. Opposition MP. Unbelievable. What did you say about the king, you bastard? You're going to jail. Wow. You can't say anything bad about the king when you're in Thailand. You go to jail. Lots of one guy drew a mustache on the king, the one that died, the old one, the good one. He was by him. And he got 10 years in jail, and he's serving the 10 years because he drew a mustache on. Well, yeah, so he should, I think so. It's one thing you got to realize when you go to Thailand, you've got to respect their king and their culture. And they love their kings, and you don't say anything. But if you get into a conversation about the king and say nasty things about him in front of Thais, they will get really offended. You'd lucky to have any teeth left in you.
Oh, look, they love their royalty. There's no ifs and buts about that. You know, the Rama IX was probably the most loved one of the whole lot. He did a hell of a lot for the people, and so did his sisters. His sisters did a hell of a lot too.
The overly large one, what's her name? It was I can't remember her name. That was his daughter. And she is a lovely lady. She's done so much for Thailand. All the kids have done a lot for Thailand. They're pretty good like that.
No, like the new king.
Except for one. The new king's wonderful. John, you know that.
Well, the thing is, you know, he's got everybody's expecting him to take straight over from his father, but the whole thing is he's a different person and he's got a different style, and you know he'll work stuff out and he's in good time. You know, he's not going to jump in and start doing, you know, silly things or bowing to what everybody wants or who wants what. You know, he's got to spend the time to really make sure if he's going to, you know, put money somewhere that's going to be for the larger good of everybody, you know, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose you don't go to TAFE or any school and, you know, learn how to be a king, do you, or a queen?
No. Apparently his son, which is the heir to the throne, he's got a mental problems or something. He's autistic or something, I think they're saying.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Or he's got he's a mongoloid or something like that.
I don't know. Do not know.
Yeah. It's sad if he has. Never mind. Anyway, what else we got?
Well, you know, let's face it. People have children and they expect them all to be perfect. Well, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah. Oh, where are we? Hoi Hin flooded, John?
Johnny, can you just give me that straight line again?
Well,
I said, you know, all parents expect their children to be perfect, but in truth, it doesn't happen.
Apart from for my mum and dad. obviously.
Well, I think they had. I don't know about your mother and father's expectations.
They were quite low.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
They lowered the bar. They lowered the bar a bit.
Oh, that was horrible. I came out with you gave me a great straight line, and I came out with a joke, and I was muted. But thank you for repeating it. I do appreciate it. I hate it when I miss
that
a
happened
good
to me before as well.
Huh?
That happened to me. It's muted by itself, the microphone.
All right.
Oh, so what do you got? A bullshit? You got a bullshit filter on, have you?
Probably, yeah. Went over, you reckon?
Okay.
Heavy downpours in Hoi Hin and Cha Am are expected to affect tourists during the 3-day holiday this weekend, or another holiday this weekend in Thailand.
Actually,
holidays in Thailand, I always say.
Yeah,
they get a lot of excuses out for holidays, don't they? The Thais. Any day's a holiday.
I happen to have a Thai calendar in front of me, and Sunday the 13th is a holiday for King Abdullah Adulier. It's the Great Memory Day, and then on Wednesday, it's the end of Buddhist Lent.
Okay.
And then the week after, it's Chalamcorn Memorial Day. One thing about having there's more red on this calendar than there is black. The Thais have more friggin' holidays than anything.
Oh, they got the world record. Anyway, so Hoi Hin's underwater, apparently. Floods pretty bad. Cha-Am's underwater.
Loi Krathong Day is November the 14th.
Yeah.
15th, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. What other fun days have they got? What other fun days have they got?
The Thais do have a lot of, we would call them in England, bank holidays, official holidays. I'm sure, I have never investigated it, but I'm sure they get far more than we do in the UK.
I can tell you what, Steve, like I say, this is a Thai calendar which is from Greenbank. And then we got King Rama IX's birthday was on December the 5th. Then December the 10th is coronation, and then obviously 25th Christmas Day, and then the New Year's Eve, and yeah, every month's got holidays.
Day, John.
Pardon?
They don't have a holiday on Christmas Day.
Well, it's on their calendar. It's on the Thai calendar.
They didn't celebrate it when I was over there.
Yeah, they've snuck that one in.
Yeah.
Well, and New Year's Eve, Steve. New Year's Eve.
Oh no, they celebrate the Chinese New Year.
I think they celebrate any New Year.
Fucking oath, mate. They do. They celebrate both of them.
I mean, the king that everybody likes, what was it called? Rama IX? Was he?
Yeah, Rama IX. Rama
IX. He died on the 14th.
Yeah.
Who's putting that up?
What?
Oh no, it's all right. Somehow I was about 20 yards back on the video.
On the video. If you're watching, have you got your chat on live chat or top chat? Because you should be on live chat.
What I meant was somehow I clicked my mouse and I was back to the time when I did the knicker sniffer story.
Oh.
And I thought one of you had put it back up on the screen. And I thought, wow. And anyway.
Obviously, you haven't taken it down, but so what you thought your mouse was was one of those funny DeLoreans, and you were going back to the future.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I didn't know I'd done it. It just happened.
Oh,
Anyway,
obviously you spent
we're
time going to court. It wasn't me, Your Honour.
We're talking far too much about the technical issues of running a stream. Well, let's face it, we're all experts at this. We know what we're doing. Probably.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Man, Steve just hit the panic button and blamed everybody.
Well, I did DWP. Well, DWP. Oh no, that's no. It's not DWP.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one way to find out, isn't there? Where are you?
Anyhow, I'll give you a couple of ticks. I'm gonna go to little boy's room.
Yeah, mate. No worries. All right.
Please don't go. What's that song? Can you play the guitar? I'll sing. There's a song. Please don't go.
It doesn't fucking work with this microphone, Steve. I can't get it to work. I was playing it last night with my mate.
Now. I've got a better one. If you leave me now,
you take away the biggest part of me. Ooh, baby, please. Chicago.
You're a bit too fast. It's got to be a bit slower.
No, you were
still damn good.
25
DWP Walker. I did see you to the side of. Who was it? Who was on today? Ben today. Do you have a good time, mate? Look like it.
Ben? Yeah, Ben's all right. I don't mind Ben.
Did a live stream today.
I was watching Cheap Charlie last night. I was watching Cheap Charlie last night, Steve. I've got to give it to the guy. He does a good stream. Yeah, he really knows how to play the audience. He's very good at it, actually. Probably one of the best out there, I think. I don't mind Charlie.
I don't think you can take away from him the fact that he grew a channel to 300,000. I think that takes a bit of effort, a bit of work, and a bit of forethought. I can take away from that he hasn't really exploited the success he had. Okay. That's what frustrates him. But the reason, but adding to what you're saying, for some reason, he's just a very likable guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on why he's likable. He's not very. He admits himself. He's tricky in social situations.
Okay. He shows you Thailand. He doesn't put. I don't really hear him putting shit on other vloggers.
No.
What he does is sometimes interesting. Shows you this, he shows you that, and he gives his truly what his thoughts are on certain things. And he was with Ben Newton last night. And he was kicking goals, man. I mean, Ben, I like Ben. I have got a lot of time for Ben, but I don't watch him because that's a bit rough for me. But I'll have a beer with Ben. I'll have a beer with Charlie. No worries.
Well, the question in America, I think it was when Nixon was running for president. Was would you buy a second-hand car off this man? And it's sort of grown in history, and it's a way of judging people. If you said that about Charlie, would you buy a second-hand car off this man? Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think if Charlie was selling you a second-hand car, he would try to rip you off.
It'd be good to get him. I actually, years ago,
examples make no sense. My examples make my examples make no sense to you at all, do they, Stephen? What
Not
the
really.
fuck is he talking about? Well, look, where's my buddy? Come back, Harry Kane. Harry Kane will know what I mean. That it's a way of judging people. The way to decide whether you think they've got a good or bad character. And the question has always been, would you buy a second-hand car off this man? It's been it's not my words. Millions of times it's been said, and I think with Cheap Charlie, absolutely, I would buy a second-hand car. I think he's basically honest. Yeah, but I still don't quite know why. I'd actually love to meet him and have a half-hour talk with him. But he really needs a manager. He's too comfortable doing what he's doing, which is okay when you're 45. And look, maybe he's going to get an inheritance. I don't know, but I'd be starting to worry about my retirement if I wasn't getting it. I want to be earning a bit more than just surviving. But no, it's not a criticism of him.
The fucking microphone was muted again.
What, me or you?
Mine.
Hold on, I've got to change mine as well. I've got doot going on. Hold on. I'm going to mute myself for a bit. It's all down to bloody Johnny.
What?
No, Charlie does a good stream.
I didn't know you were still there, Johnny. I was talking behind your back.
Ben
back in a
Newton,
bit.
he does the best videos. When he going back 2 or 3 years ago, he did videos that were just so advanced and very well done. So I do hope that he gets back into doing videos, and because they're really good. He's probably the best out there at the moment. Ben Newton, very, very good at it. But I don't watch his live streams, but yeah, well. Well, what's happening, John?
I don't know. I'm just reading Harry Kane's. I missed out in the conversations. Second-hand car salesmen, aren't they wonderful people? Like insurance salesmen. Yeah. I used to have a sign on my gate. It said, "We shoot every second salesman, every third salesman. The second one just left."
Yeah. Okay.
Robert, it's good that you're going to get that surgery done, mate. What's that? You've been bloody near 12 months.
No, I won't be getting. I've already had my eyes scraped several times, Johnny.
Oh, okay. So, what's the next option? They give you two bloody patches, or
I don't know. We'll see. I know they can't keep doing it because it just damages my eyes even more every time they do it.
Well, let's hope everything goes well on Monday.
Oh, I'm sure it will, but the problem is
what's the matter with your eyes? G'day, Robert. What's the matter with your eyes?
That's kind of a complicated answer. I have cysts on the inside, and the outside builds up a protein thing, so it's like having welder's flash and then beach sand thrown in your eyeballs at the same time.
Okay, cataract type of thing, yeah.
Say that again.
Cataract. It's
no, it's not like cataracts. This is actually at the back of my eye for the cyst. And any place those are at, I can't see. And then on the front of my eye, it's like having a bad case of welder's flash with beach sand thrown in your face.
Yeah, well, I remember welder's flash. I used to use milk. Put milk in the eyes.
You know, frankly, it literally reminds me of welder's flash, Johnny, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's why I I've had welder's flash many a time. And yeah, it's like sand in your eyes and bloody hurts. And the thing is, milk was always the thing that calmed it down and so you could get a night's sleep. Otherwise, it was bloody painful, annoying, and you couldn't sleep. But yeah, milk.
I haven't tried that one. I might have to give that a whirl, but
well, it can't hurt.
No, well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that one.
What are they going to do? Take your eyeball out, clean it up, and put it back in? Yeah.
No, he takes an instrument and literally scrapes the shit off the front of my eye.
Huh.
Let's put it this way. It's probably one of the most painful things that I've ever had to endure in my life.
I was just to say, it doesn't sound like fun.
No,
and
it's not.
usually when they play with one eye, the other eye goes out in sympathy. So you're technically blind. You can't see shit.
Well, I have it in both eyes. They have to both
that's
be
good.
done.
Yeah, so there'll be one week and another one the next week.
No, they'll do them both at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you hopefully the dogs are pretty good at them seeing eye dogs.
Yeah, well, the only benefit if I meet any of the ladies, I can just, claim I can't see, so I got to feel my way through.
Oh, that's interesting.
You got to look at the bright side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you obviously, because one being painful and the other one is, you can't really see properly, and I
guess in this age that could be painful too, because you can never be so sure anymore.
Well, you're right there. You're right there. If you go back to the 60s, and until something turned around, you weren't quite sure what you were looking at.
Yeah. Good point. I just wanted to pop up and let you guys know this is my original account. After almost 2 years, I finally won it back.
Well, that's good, mate. I noticed the lead guitar man,
Well, yeah, and that's the strange thing, Johnny. And this is testament to anybody, I guess, listening and on YouTube. Beings that they restored my account, they restored everything as it were, as if none of this had ever happened.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, testament to that is I'm still a mod on this channel.
Yeah,
Beings that my whole profile was removed and didn't even show up in people's
search
subscription list.
You couldn't even search it.
Correct. That should tell everybody that they do keep every bit of information that you put on this platform.
No,
yeah.
I can't believe anybody keeps any track of us.
You can't believe what?
I'm just joking, Robert. My mic was fucked when you first joined the panel. Welcome, sir. Lovely to see you back again. And secondly, that joke about I got to feel my way through things. Did you pinch off somebody? I've never heard that joke before. It's beautiful. Or did you just think of it yourself?
No, that was just kind of on the fly, guy.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. All right. I just want to say hello. I'll shut up again.
Yeah. Hey, no, that's cool. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
It's
good.
Your statement to me earlier, I won't elaborate on, but you wouldn't believe how true that comment is at the moment.
Oh, I know, Rob. Look, I don't know as much about it as you, maybe only 10%. But I do follow American politics a lot. It's a hobby of mine. I watch lots of stuff about it. I dread to think what's going to happen in, what is it now, 2.5 weeks?
Well, it isn't as much as what's going to happen as what they're already doing. And I won't elaborate on that because it affects me personally. Well, to be quite honest, it's beginning to look like that everything that I've went through, even on this platform with the banning of my channels, tied into that same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I can't.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting for me, but maybe a bit off the wall for other people aren't. But it's so near now. Okay, well, I think we can make it easier. I was very disappointed in Trump's debate with Kamala. What do you think?
In what way?
I thought it was a huge mistake to come out with they're eating cats and dogs. It doesn't matter how true or false it is. Doesn't matter. To my mind.
Okay, but hold on.
A huge mistake.
Let me point out something to you, though, Steve.
Go on.
There comes a point when you've heard the saying, you have to call a spade, right? Have you heard that before?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, you know what it means, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. In that sense, if you think about this from a social standpoint, not just in the United States, but globally, people have literally been living in a fantasy land. They don't want to believe certain aspects of certain things to be true when they actually are. And unfortunately, I think we're at the point that in the Western world, per se, if we're going to continue with the idea of the Western world, we're going to have to shake off the fantasy land and get back to some truth. And if that hurts somebody's fifis, then so be it.
That is going to be the fantasy world kingdom, which is, as we know, is grown and grown.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really going to burst their bubble.
Do you know, I watched that debate, Steve. Kamala Harris made a total fucking idiot out of him over that pet thing. He just fell straight into it. And she won that debate, but whether she was right or wrong, it's different, Robin. I'm not saying she was right or wrong, but she killed him.
I think especially because Trump is usually really, really good.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't have any good comeback, Steve.
Well, but hold on, though, Steve.
Fucking killed him.
Let me be quite honest there. The fact that he was being honest is lost upon many. And as I stated, if we're going to measure something based upon how well you lie, then Kamala's in with spades. You know, so
the incident is, Robert, is just about the eating the dogs and cats. It was just nuts saying that shit like that. I mean, it's probably true. I don't know.
Good night, Tracy.
Camilla just made a fucking total idiot out of him over that. She giggled at him, and he fell right. She put out the bait, mate, and he took the hook. You know.
Yeah, but hold on, Clark. You may think that as in the debate, but after a fact, being that everything that he said was confirmed, that's not debatable now. Yeah. And you know, as I said, it has to. At some point, you have to face the reality of certain things, and what he said was true and proven to be true.
Oh, okay. But
actually, that statement, they're eating the dogs and cats. That was put up here after the Vietnam conflict, and there was a lot of refugees came to this country, and there was problems with too many cats and too many dogs and God knows what. And it didn't, some cultures do eat cats and dogs.
Well, that's exactly the point.
You know, the little videos you see on YouTube and on Facebook, they were absolutely full of him saying dogs and cats and stuff. And there was some funny stuff on there too. But I'm not talking about the debate, Robert. I'm talking about Camilla beat him with that dogs and cat stuff, and it was.
I don't believe so.
Probably should have. Well, that's what I see from my side of the city, mate. You probably know more than me, but
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It depends upon your point of view and where you get confirmation of things from.
Oh, it wasn't a matter of that. It was the way he did it and the way he said it. It was funny. It wasn't funny.
Well, yeah, but how else are you supposed to say it? Frankly.
Well, probably you don't say it and move on to something else. She just tore that apart.
Well, but no, hold on. But see that therein lies
made a total fool.
Therein lies the problem. If you're not going to call out things for what they are, then you're not calling it out.
I'm not on Kamala Harris's side or Trump's side.
No. What I'm saying, though, Clark, is you're brushing it as a way that he's supposed to abstain from saying something that's true.
Yeah, I think you're missing the
It
point,
would be,
mate.
you
You're
know,
missing the humor in it.
you guys were just having a conversation about if someone speaks out about the king of Thailand there.
Yeah.
Okay. The difference is being he's monarchy. Okay. They allow that kind of thing to be done where if you speak out against the king, they can put you in jail. The idea of the Western world is you're able to speak out truths that maybe people make them uncomfortable, but are true. And if that's a problem, then it isn't a problem with the person saying it. It's the person that doesn't want to admit it. And unfortunately, the world has become a place where that's become a normalcy. Even Steve, when he used the analogy of would you trust buying a used car? If you're going to use that as a measure, then you're going to have to take and use that across the board. Not just in life, in day-to-day life, but in who decides to take and run your government.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, my take on it, Robert, is Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. So she has told lies all her life.
Well, there's another. You need to change that C to a T, and you'd probably have it closer.
But I've never seen a prosecutor realistically tell the truth. It's their version of events.
I reckon she's a real idiot, John. I mean,
Well,
if you're a prosecutor, you wouldn't be an idiot, though, would you? But I see after that, like I believe she beat Trump, right? That's my opinion, Robert. I'm not I wasn't into the politics of it.
Well, I mean, you're free to think whatever you want, Clark.
Hang on, Robert. Let me get to the point. Let me get to the point, Robert. And then you watch these other interviews with Kamala Harris at that, and they were asking her direct questions. She couldn't fucking answer them.
Correct.
And she blubbered on about this shit. She done worse than fucking Trump did on the face to face. So, what's the fucking point?
Can I just?
I don't believe. Sorry, guys.
Can I add my 2 cents to it?
No, you can only bloody halfpenny, mate.
$2. What is the weirdest thing for me is that when she was running to be a presidential candidate, she was kicked out almost at the first. Oh, she had no supporters. She even lost her own state. I mean, that's ridiculous. I can't remember which one it was, Robert, you'll tell me. But she lost her own state. But in a 2.5 weeks' time, this woman, who is the most unpopular woman in America, politically wise, could become the leader of the Western world. I think it just shows how much the media and big money controls everything. Even when you think, no, we don't want them. We really don't want them. We don't like them. We wouldn't buy a second. I'm glad you quoted me, but I wouldn't buy a second-hand car off her. Even with all of that, she is still in line with a 50-50 chance, probably 55-50. 55-50 chance of becoming the leader of the Western world. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Let me point out a few things, beings that we're getting on the whole idea of truism. You have to remember that most of what everybody's getting is through mainstream media, not through, shall we say, independent channels that can be verified.
Yep.
And
true.
If I got to be very careful what I say here, guys. And that's the point that this has come to, believe it or not. And that's, I think, is lost upon many that, like you were pointing out, she is actually the first presidential candidate in history that never got one vote ever.
Yeah.
Well, she only because Biden said, I'm retiring and I'm putting her forward, being my successor. That's the only reason anything happened.
Well, if you believe that's how that played out, yeah.
Well, they had to put it this way, Robert. They had to do something, otherwise the election was lost because no one was going to vote for Biden, not even his own people.
Well, the thing is, though, it's if people don't understand that this is all a created persona, because let's be honest, the woman's dumb as a block of wood. There's only one thing she's good at, and that's being on her knees. That's very apparent.
Oh, Robert, she's very good at giggling.
Yeah, well, she doesn't do much of that if she's on her knees, guy.
Look, you can't giggle with a mouthful.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's had a few of them, but
more pricks in a dartboard.
It's testament to how well we're manipulated by media. If this isn't a grand example of that worldwide, not just here, I don't know what would be.
Well, Robert, going back many years ago, Rupert Murdoch wanted to buy his second and third newspaper, and the government at the time here said, no, you can't own more than, kind of two of them. And he also, England and into the US with the newspapers and all the rest of it. But here he can only own he couldn't have a controlling interest, in other words. That way we got unbiased news. But if we really look at what we get, is if you've got the money, the media report what you want them to report. Because what is it? It's all about the money. And you're right with saying don't listen to the bloody news. Make up your own mind.
Well, and unfortunately, they've literally, people don't realize how much they've been programmed to think a certain way in the past, shall we say, well, even hell, just look at the past 4 years. That's enough testament to that. But I don't think a lot of people realize how much they've been influenced by media, and they don't have to necessarily own the companies. They can own the damn people.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Robert, let me. Sorry, go on, Robert.
No, go ahead. Hey, Clark, why are you?
Who do you feel is going to win the? Who do you feel is going to win the election, Robert?
If everything's legit, it's a no questions asked. But I can tell you, they're creating a narrative to make certain claims. The only thing is, I don't think that's going to fly this time. For many reasons.
Well, after the last couple of fiascos, one would have thought that the polling system would have changed.
It will only change if the people who control it change, Johnny.
Well, they're under government directive, but to send out. They're talking to quite a few. We send everything out. Now, if there's 10 people owned your house prior, whoever's been on the list because they don't seem to amend anything, you might get 10 voting slips in the bloody mailbox.
Well, and therein lies the rub. People think that the failures of certain systems are exclusive to the presidency, and that's not true. If we all want to be honest, take a look at our judicial systems and what happened during COVID and what they did to people.
The disease we had to have.
Well, it's the fact that the enforcement of absurd things become normalized to where you could be locked up for as much as not getting a test or walking out in your front yard. Well,
look, I actually live in the area which was the most locked down in the world.
I didn't catch what you said there, Johnny.
I live in the state, which were in Australia, which was the most locked down in the world.
Yeah, I know.
And the thing about it is, you want to take the dog for a walk where you say, well, the police change shifts at this time of night and it's dark, we'll go for a walk. You end up thinking like a criminal.
Exactly. That they made good people criminal for being good people.
Well, it was funny that they charge people for taking their rubbish bins out. That's how stupid it got, although they were thrown out of court. But that's how the police mentality and things like that were. I made a lot of questions, and that's where I lost a lot of social media stuff because it was taken away from me by questioning, who do the police work for? They work for us. And the criminals have got wear suits and are politicians. And as far as the law goes, we have laws, not to be interpreted whatever, because it's written in layman's terms. And for all these buggers to carry on, it's not law.
Correct. And
g'day, Ron.
This is this is one of the reasons why I popped up here. Because believe it or not, Johnny, this situation that I am is related directly to what you're talking about. It's the same.
As you know, you and I have actually spoken about some of the stuff that you've gone through, and I can't believe, I really can't believe that in the country that's supposed to be the leader of the free world, where they persecute people for having a view that they differ to. I think that's disgusting.
Well, but what I want to point out, Johnny, is I won this battle.
Yes, that's good. But
hold on though.
Yeah.
But there's some things I wanted to point out to people so they understand what's really happening behind the scenes. And by all means, I intend on winning more. Believe me, much more.
Well, I got my fingers crossed for you, mate.
Well, it doesn't come without its risk, Johnny, as you pointed out.
Oh, yes. Yes. You got your persecution and all the rest of it without a trial, basically.
Pretty much.
And that's against everybody's constitution.
This here is, even albeit it may seem like a small one, it is testament that all of a sudden they're a little not so sure about their position, if you know what I mean. You know, sometimes, as people know, the smallest of, shall we say, thorns can become the biggest of problems.
Yes. The thorn in one side, you know, and that's the thing. A lot of people aren't either prepared, or when they get a bit of pressure, they're not really prepared to fight back. They kind of roll over and say whatever, you know. But the whole part about it is, tell me if I'm wrong, I believe governments work for the people. We don't work for the governments.
Well, in theory, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Our police work for the people, not for the government. They're paid by the government, where the money comes from the people. The whole part about it, when we start getting persecuted, and that's the real word, persecuted, for having a belief or speaking out about something that's not right, or have an indifference to, and then you're persecuted, you're restrained by different means. That's totally illegal. But when they're questioned or whatever on that, they seem to run and hide a little bit. But when the bullshit cloud starts to clear, there's a lot of people blaming somebody else, isn't there?
Well, as the saying goes, when you flip the lights on, the cockroaches start running for the shade. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
g'day, Chuck.
Hey, how you doing, Chuck? Good to see you. And yes, this is the real me again after almost 2 years. You know, and Johnny and Steve and Clark, you guys were around and I was around doing my thing at that point in time when this all really was getting kicked off.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve and Johnny, for sure, have definitely a little more insider knowledge than most. But this, to me, is the first little ray of light, shall we say, and the cockroaches are starting to run. And if you look at it from a political end, they're doing everything they can do to make certain, shall we say, certain people in certain aspects seem and look in a way that they aren't. And I can't elaborate on that any further.
Oh, look, believe me, this conversation could really flower out to what's really happening.
Oh, absolutely. Trust me, Johnny, if I could say what I'd like to say,
we'd both get hung, mate. We'd both get hung.
Absolutely. But the reason for my coming up is more of a heads up to everybody, because now not only does it prove some theories that I had back beyond, but the fact that this is all restored without, you know, like you said before, you couldn't even search my damn name. And now it's like none of it ever happened. And every bit of information, every text, every post, everything that I had done prior to this is all restored as if it was magically never taken away. But the revealing thing about that is every post, everything you say
is recorded.
Never moved either.
Hey, Lieutenant Nescafe, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Lieutenant? You know, so let's just put it this way. Shit's about to get really interesting in more ways than I think most people would realize, because too many people think that what's happening now has become a normalization of what we should think about in politics and how things work.
Well, I think people are starting to question a lot of things that are going on, and you know, and it comes back to dollars and cents, and the whole lot of people have said, you know, what the hell's going on with this stuff, and they're starting to realise it is all political. Well,
and it's starting to reveal connections that I don't think people understood. How many things are interconnected.
Yes, like Kamala Harris, you know, first rally, all these dollars came in. Well, we know where they came from, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, why are they still trying to raise hundreds of millions of dollars with such a short term? I can tell you why, but I can't do it publicly. So,
no, well, I think we're both on the same page with that, Robert.
Yeah. Let's see. Chuck, don't mind. Hey, guys, if I miss what you're saying, it's because I can't hardly see shit at the moment. But.
Well, Chuck's saying, I was asking you about the other day. I was asking about you the other day. Glad to see you. You're still above the ground. Well, yeah, that it is a good thing, Chuck. It is, because Robert's a top man.
Well, I think that a lot of people didn't realize one of the reasons, well, bar my, shall we say, my unceremonious removable from social media.
Yeah.
The other fact is the only way I could protect the people that I know is to literally stay away from them.
Yeah.
And that's lost upon a few people. And it's cost me more than what people, I think, even realize. Even as much as being able to come up here and talk with you guys. And,
Well,
and anybody that knows me, I don't bullshit people, and I don't. I'm very much self-aware of what's going on, if that makes sense.
I do know at great cost, and that's why you remove yourself from a lot of contact and things like that, because this whole saga is cost your family
Dearly.
more than it should, and it legally should.
Well, and the other aspect, though, Johnny, and you made a point earlier, if they'll take and come out and want to lock you up for walking your dog or taking your garbage bin out, you have to ask yourself, what are they capable of if they have total control? If nobody pushes back?
Well, the thing is, human nature is to question, but they've dumbed everybody down. So they're sheep. They no longer ask questions. They're sheep.
Well, as I said, I think the past 4 years have proven that.
Look, I know here it was just about got to the stage that I personally, I said, get stuffed. I'm just going to go back to life, because this will, and it did. The governments here killed people because they couldn't get out, they couldn't exercise, they couldn't do anything. They were prisoners in their own homes.
Yeah, pretty much. Just imagine.
Can I just ask
go ahead,
questions,
Steve.
Robert?
Go ahead.
I don't think Johnny was actually saying what I was thinking as he said it. But do you ever feel no, maybe I misunderstood what you were saying, but do you ever think, oh, fuck it, if everybody else on the fucking planet can't understand what's going on, why am I putting my personal life on the line and my relationships and everything else? Do you ever think about giving up? Just saying, oh, fuck it. They're all idiots. Everybody I talk to is an idiot. I don't mean, look, we both know Johnny's an idiot, but let's forget that. But do you ever, because I do get to that stage where when I'm arguing with people, talking to people, I just can't be asked. If you can't see what I'm telling you, maybe it's my bad presentation or whatever, but if you can't see it, I can't be asked to teach you. Do you ever get to that stage where you think of giving up?
Let me put this in a way I think everybody, including yourself, will understand, Steve. Human nature, most people are risk adverse. And I'll tell you, this is what scares not just the politicians here in this country, but across the Western world at the moment. Is the moment they have a few people that all of a sudden they can follow suit on, and then all of a sudden those people aren't afraid anymore. That's what scares the shit out of the powers that be at the moment. And the moment I stop, I take one more person out of that equation. And quite frankly, I've already bled for this country, literally. If they think they're going to scare me by just doing what they've did, then their profiling is very wrong. But somebody at some point in time, Steve, has to stand up, or we wouldn't have the Western world as we see it now if everybody thought that the risk isn't worth the reward.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Can I retract my question?
Well, there's a good analogy to it, and somebody made comment in here about old analogies being true. You plant the tree that you may never sit under.
Yeah.
And that's more true today than I think most people realize.
That's another good one, Robert. Really, absolutely. But I honestly don't think that. Look, I don't even think my generation that didn't do the sort of work that you did, I don't know if we would fight. I don't know.
Well, not everybody will at first, Steve.
I think we fought, you know, I mean, I can only talk from the English point of view. The English were beaten down, the trade unions were beaten down. Our whole country has changed ridiculously.
And that's by design.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to be quite honest, Steve. If people don't stand up, and I hate to use the terms for what's right, because the right and wrong thing can be a gray area at times.
Yeah.
But there is certain truisms in life that will always be true. And if you aren't willing to fight for your own home, where you then you're not going to have one.
Right.
And that's becoming apparent in many countries right now. That's the reality of that situation. If everybody wants to be honest with themselves, and people can blow smoke up their asses all they want and sugarcoat the cake all they want, there are some facts that just cannot be denied. And it's becoming more apparent about how the tolerance that people have had about what their governments are doing has turned around and bit them in the ass in more ways than they could even realize.
Yeah.
That has to be recognized.
Okay. One more question. What I find hard to understand as well is, why do the politicians want to be horrible? Why don't they do things right? Is it all down to money, or? You know,
let me ask you this, Steve. What's your price?
My price.
What's your price?
I don't think I have one.
If somebody come up and said, Steve, we'll give you $1 million if you'll tell a lie about Robert.
Oh yeah, probably.
There's your answer for you.
Yeah. Good point. All
I
right,
wouldn't sell out for $1 million. I'd go for 2, Robert, then settle for 1.5.
Gentlemen, I'm just going to mute myself while I go through another beer.
No, you're right. You're right. That's exactly it. And people that in politics and on the world stage type of thing, saying one thing, and then you'll see them a couple of weeks later, they'll be virtually they've done a total turnaround and a flip flop.
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, well, how much did they get paid? Well, that's what I think straight away. You know, you're sold out.
Well,
and that's right, because you see it in corporate and all the rest of it. Somebody will change their mind and say, well, what are you getting out of it?
Well, testament to that, and this is what, in this, speaking from just this country's point of view when it comes to politics, when you have a politician come up and literally state publicly on a congressional floor that they believe that Elon Musk should be deported from the country, being that he's the person that had to go save their ass by going up and rescuing the astronauts from the ISS. You have to wonder from what position this person's justifying their words. Is it because he really thinks that Elon is what he says he is, which is utter bullshit? Or is there some reason behind the scenes that maybe his pockets are being padded? And I hate to say it, politicians can be bought really cheaply.
Oh yes, but the thing is with Elon Musk, he's abrasive, non-conformative, and that's why they don't like him. And he can buy and sell any one of them any day of the week.
And the other thing is, he can't be bought.
No, he's the one that can buy and sell them. if they said, "Oh, we'll give you $1 million," it'd be like chewing gum and not on his boot.
Well, and therein lies the rub when it comes to that. If they can't get him from the financial end, they're going to try to get him from the criminal or the political end.
Well, what did they do with Donnie?
Exactly. And that part is lost upon many because they get wrapped up in the he said, she said of the media. Mm-hmm. That's why I made the point to Steve. What's your price to take and turn around and say Robert did something or said something? What would your price be? Yeah. And it's very easy to create a narrative that is a total falsehood. And anybody that can't recognize that obviously hasn't paid attention to the world.
I think a lot of people nowadays, after the disease we had to have, everybody became kind of hermits. The social outlets were monitored, what you couldn't say and could say and all the rest of it. It's everybody's walking around with blinkers on, and you've got all these minorities yelling out, "What about me? What about me? I matter." Well, you never mattered before, and you still don't matter to me. What matters to me is the people I call my friends and my family. That's all that matters truly to me.
Well, and to put onto that point, as you said, what's the one thing that happened, as you said, during the disease we had to have? They literally made people fear to leave their home for loss of their own freedom, for just walking their dog. And anybody that's listening who says that isn't true, then obviously you didn't pay attention to what happened in this whole damn world in the last 4 years.
Oh, the mushrooms. You put them in the dark, you keep them in the dark and feed them a bit of shit every now and again, and they'll grow.
There you go.
Yeah.
But they literally scared people with the loss of their own freedom for thinking for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
And, to point out when Steve was asking me, when is enough, or is there ever a point? Yeah, there's lots of points, Steve. Lots of points. But in the same token, if somebody doesn't do it, nobody will.
Well, it takes somebody to lead, because majority of people are followers.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, it only takes a few people to start speaking out, then others start speaking out, then others start to follow. You only have to look at some of these bullshit bloody rallies, let's call them, or parades of fools taking over our cities, talking about stuff that's political, which is really to do with the national debt. And one can't tell Daddy we're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. But if you look at even in our own and your own countries, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter where you're at the moment.
It's all the same.
If you take a good close look, the corruption has integrated itself into the whole political class of all countries, not just exclusively to the United States or to Australia or whatever. It's very apparent now, and as the saying goes, the king has no clothes now. And I think, even though on my smallest scale, I mean, the grand scheme of things, I'm minuscule, but you don't fill a bucket unless you have one drop at a time.
Yeah.
And that's your answer, Steve. That's why.
Actually, here we're Sun Honey Studios. Welcome along. The one thing about it, like here, we've got a local council, like the local. Well, they call themselves local government. We got an election, and there was a large group of people in a local free into everybody's letterbox newspaper. They took out a whole page, number 3 page ad, photographs, the whole lot of it, of people within that council that are up for elections and all that voted in different ways, which was detrimental to half the communities and jobs. And I thought to myself, good on yous. It takes money, number one, and it takes guts to actually go to that stage where if you can't get your point across, put it into everybody's bloody mailbox.
Well, I think we're going to, and by the way, hello, son, honey. I think we're at an impasse now as to, and this, you know, somebody said something on a podcast I watched that kind of made sense, but there's only certain ways that we can describe certain things. And sometimes you have to use biblical terms. And I hate to do that because I always try to stay neutral when it comes to those kinds of things. But there's only certain ways to describe certain actions of people. And I believe we're at an impasse when it comes to what humanity is going to be in the future.
I'm glad I won't. We won't be around, so that'll probably be a good thing. But I do pity help our grandchildren and our grandchildren's grandchildren.
Well, as I said, we have to plant the trees we'll never sit under, because if we don't, there won't be any. And I'll tell you the difference when it comes to the thought process of people. Most people, I would believe, that are in here on this panel, or most people that I know, when it comes to their political ideology, their idea is like with their neighbor. I don't care what my neighbor does as long as he doesn't bother me. You do your thing, I'll do my thing, we'll all be happy. But you have to understand, these people's thought processes don't work that way. They aren't happy unless they're controlling what you're doing in your own yard.
Oh, yes.
And that is a huge difference that most people can't understand when it comes to, they ask, why does somebody, how can they think that way? Or how can you or I think that way? Or how do they think that way? What you have to understand is we want to just be left alone and do our thing as much as we want to leave other people alone, let them do their thing. They're not satisfied with that.
As long as people aren't upsetting the status quo, who gives a shit what they do?
Exactly.
But you're right. There are people that want to control what people do and how they do it, because for some reason they feel either offended or hurt or basically they just control freaks.
And that is the weirdest thing. And in America, Robert, you have HOA, and there's loads of videos on YouTube of HOA being obnoxious. But it's all around the world. People do like to control other people. Present company accepted. And let me just finish.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to stand up for Thailand. I'm just only going to stand up for Thailand for a little while. One of the great things of living in Thailand is that they are super tolerant until they stop being tolerant. So nobody really cares what your neighbor's doing. Very liberal and, up to you what you do. Now, when it gets to a limit that's obnoxious, they will fight back. But normal stuff, they don't care. It's so good.
Well,
for
but
that type of job.
that's the whole rub, though, Steve. It's becoming more and more apparent that, like you're talking about with the HOAs, or people who think in that aspect that they want to design how everybody's supposed to live their lives. That makes them a tool of the people who are really in control, because call them useful idiots, because they will take and cut their own nose off in spite of their face, just because they want to control in some way, shape, or form somebody else, because they have no control of their own lives.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
That could be the answer, but I really don't understand it. I would never want to control somebody else's life. I don't care what they do. And what you said there, I mean, it's your fundamentals of Republicans. Just leave me alone. I want a small government, and we're never going to get that in the UK. But I want a small government. Don't bother me. I mean, once again, we have a small government in Thailand. If I have a problem with a neighbour, something's wrong, we've got one man to go to. We see him, he sorts it out. Doesn't cost us any money. It's so much easier.
Well, let me make a warning there, though, Steve. If the people who want to control what's going on in this world, which is very apparent now, don't think that where you're at is going to be isolated.
Yeah, I take your point.
Nowhere is isolated from it, but and the whole thing about it is the money behind it is large.
Well, it's not just money. They control the monetary systems, John.
Yes, and a lot of other systems, and it goes into the political as well. If you really do your research, you can as much as you can. You can find some sticky fingers around.
Well, go ahead.
Gentlemen, can I just butt in for just a second? I've done too much. It's time for me to leave the party, as much as I hate to do it. Johnny, always a pleasure to see you. Robert, great to see you again, mate. Hope you come back. And I'll catch us next Friday or whenever we do next stream.
All right,
good night to both of you. Good night to you, Stephen, and Robert.
All right, see you, Steve.
And also to everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining. It's been fun. Good night, all.
Good night, Steve. It's something that, what I mean with the politicians and a lot of things. Their fingers are in different pies, and when things start going wrong, then it kind of comes out, because that sways their decisions on voting for stuff, because they have a financial gain or a financial loss.
Well, and you have to, I think what's lost upon many people is they don't understand the hierarchy when it comes to those things. People believe that the politicians are the ones who are actually in control, which is the furthest thing from the truth.
They're bought and paid for.
Exactly. They're no different than a street prostitute, and all of them run to their pimp. To put it in a lowbrow point. The fact that many of those aspects are getting exposed, not just here but across the world, I think the last 4 years have done that. I don't think their plans were as effective at certain aspects that they had intended them to be. Which, don't get me wrong, and I want to say this as succinctly as I can, I don't think we've seen the end of that. Not by any means, because
no, they're not going. they've had a bit of a slap in the face, but they're not going to accept that.
No. And, you know, like when Steve was still here and he's talking about the UK, I think there's things in his home country that maybe are lost upon many who are looking at it from the outside as to what's really going on there. Because unfortunately, most people don't look behind the curtain, so to speak, and what those hierarchies are. But now it's coming to the point to where politicians are doing and saying things that are so absurd that they have to expose themselves by doing it. And unfortunately, at the moment, there's no consequence for that. But those consequences are coming.
Yeah, that's right. The balloon has basically with some of the other things that, you know, where they've had their finger in the pie and stuff like that. The balloons burst, and their exposure is there. You know, the people which were, let's say, in a position where they're supposed to be working for the others and all the rest of it. It realised that, you know, the realisation is they're up to their neck in it.
Oh, absolutely.
Where prior to that, no one knew, and they were, you know, making their sly money and, you know, getting their graft and corruption and all the rest of it, and life went on merrily.
Well, I'll give you a good example, and something that most people are going to know about because it's been put in the mainstream media is the whole P. Diddy thing. And people think that they're doing that right now because of the evil shit the man did. What they don't understand is they're doing that now so they can gain control of any evidence or anything that could incriminate them. Because if they lose control, which they're going to do sooner or later, their control will be raised from them, and they're going to do everything they can to make sure they aren't left with their asses hanging out. And that's lost upon many people because they think, well, look what they're doing. They're going after all these people are doing this. No. They're only doing that because they have to burn those things that could burn them. Because I guarantee you, if it didn't look like that they had any worries about certain power being turned over to people they can't control, none of this would be happening. But that's only just one little aspect from the social scale that I think, and I shouldn't brush with such a broad stroke. I think many people see it for what it is, but I don't think they understand the timing and why they did it the way they did.
I think their game plan it ran a little bit longer than what they wanted to introduce, but you know, after, you know, the disease we had to have was in my opinion, was about control.
Oh, absolutely.
But, and then the rest is just fallen into line because all of a sudden you've got a whole heap of yes, sir, no, sir.
I will say, as I said before, it wasn't a matter of control per se at that point in time. It was a matter to instill into most of the population, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if you think I'm wrong. It was the idea of instilling people that you speak out, you lose your freedom.
They did that well because like you did, I did, and quite a few other people did because we spoke out about things. I remember I got a knock on the door and there was a policeman standing there. We don't like your post. And I said, well, go and get fucked. And he said, you can't say that to me. And I said, well, I just did, mate. Goodbye. Close the frigging door. Then my total account on that platform was gone. Bang.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I could tell you some stories that would blow your mind in my absence the past year and a half.
Oh, look, I can remember the last time we had a good talk about stuff, and I was surprised then, and I dare say it's progressed since then. Tan the Man, Australia's well, I live in Victoria. It's always been the police state, the nanny state, and it's only got worse. Australia is not the rough and tough country that it used to be. It's full of pussies and poofters.
Well, why do you think they're trying to feminize that?
Dan Andrews did a lot of damage, and Jacinta Allen, which has taken over, she did damage anyway. Now she's just the king of the damage. Look, I don't blame you, Dan, for leaving. We started on a project, in around when the disease we had to have that started to happen and all the rest of it, and we're talking quite a few dollars, and we weren't going to say stuff it will go. If we had gone the other way, things would have been better. But are they better? I don't know.
Well, something I'll point out though, if he left because of that, then it amplifies the effect that they wanted, because they wanted to weed out the people who would not comply.
Well, I'm still here.
Well,
I kept on telling them to go and get stuffed.
But what I'm saying though, Johnny, is what he just said is testament to what I'm getting at.
Yeah. There was one thing. There was one on TV, Robert. The TV media were turned up because a woman made a post on Facebook, and obviously the police got involved in it, and they went to her house, but the media were there, and they you've got to take that down or whatever, and she said go and get stuffed. I'll do what I want to do, and they took her out of her own house with just a night dress and a dressing gown on. You're off to the jail because we got told by the politicians. That's not fucking law. It never was.
And this that I'm very adamant about is one of the reasons why they wanted to shut me up, because you
were getting across to people, Robert. Your following was getting a little bit larger than they liked.
Yeah, for sure. And I managed to cost a certain politician their seat, personally. And believe you me, I know that is certainly a huge part of what's went on. But one thing I want to point out to what this Tam the Man. As I said to Steve, don't think that you're insulated just because you left where it's at, because what's happening in this world isn't exclusive just to any one country. And
well, that's exactly right. We've seen that on social media platforms and a lot of platforms. But don't forget, right? Tan, I don't know. He might have money in Australia. All of a sudden, the government can say, "Well, right, no more money goes outside of Australia." In other words, you can't send money overseas and stuff like that. Well, that makes it pretty hard if you're living overseas.
Well, why do you think they have the big push to digital currency?
Well, the digital currency thing, although they've got the big push to that, and that's the banks, and they control the banks, or the banks control them. But the whole part about it is they don't want, for the want of a word, we'll say paper money. They don't want that, because they can't control the paper money. It's
Well,
only when it's going in the directions of, employee to employer or employer to employee that they get their little bit out of it, or to a registered shop, or that you go around the corner and say you go to your local drug dealer or something like that, because it's paper money, he's not paying tax.
Johnny,
They've got no record of it.
Johnny, it's the dream of every government to get rid of cash.
Oh, absolutely.
You use your cards and they can follow everything you fucking do.
Yeah,
in
that's
Thailand,
right.
they're going to have no cash. Did you know that? By 2028, there'll be no cash in Thailand. It will all be done with cards. So
you know what, Stephen? There's a lot of YouTubers that have got no cash. That's why they keep on YouTube.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought then. You fucked me up.
No. Clark,
write it down, Stephen. Write it down.
27, there'll be no cash in Thailand. It'll be all done with cards. And believe you me, this is going to benefit the whole world. Look, I know you don't like your government, but they would never, and I repeat, never, go to your bank account and see what you've been spending your money on.
Bullshit. Well, hang on. Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario. You choose a partner on a street corner and there's no cash. How are you going to swipe the card?
You dirty boy.
Where's the card reader? Come on, tell me that.
What slot are you going to slide your card through, huh?
Well, it depends on which way you want to go, Robert. Heads or tails.
The only problem is, what do you find out if the thing that you're trying to buy doesn't have a slot?
Oh, well, obviously the discount.
I don't want to.
You were searching for an automatic and found yourself a stick shift.
Yeah, that's
it. The Thai government's 2027, no cash. Yep.
Yeah, and people, that's why I warn people to think that where you're at, if you believe you're going to be insulated, that's testament to what I'm saying right now, Clark.
Yeah, in Thailand at the moment, Robert, what you do now, if you go to a market or something, you buy food, they give you their phone and you scan their bank account and you put the money directly in there, okay? That's how the girl on the corner will probably handle that sort of stuff. But regardless of what happens, it goes back to the bank. It'll have a receipt and blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe the governments would look at that. Do you?
Well, I don't care about what they look at as much as I care about what if they decide to say, well, Clarky, you've been a naughty boy. We don't think you should be able to buy food today. Or right. And anybody that sells you food will be in the same boat. So how many people do you think?
A lot of things, Robert. A lot of pensioners in Australia, they go up to they call them poker machines, slot machines. And they sit there and play that all day and put all their frigging pension into it. And they go, oh, well, we're going to cut your pension down because you've been going to the slot. Oh, you've been going to the pub and buying beer. You've been in the pub. You went there and blah, blah. That's not going to happen in 2027. By 2037, it will happen. And we're all fucked.
Well, there's some other things that I could tell you would happen, but you wouldn't believe them at the moment.
We've got some indigenous people, and a lot of some of their stuff is on a voucher.
Yep.
And they're quite willing to give you a voucher to buy food and groceries of a value of $200.
Yeah.
If you go and buy a carton of beer that they are not allowed to buy, or they can't buy, or they're restricted from buying.
Well, and that's the end goal, is they're going to control every aspect of a person's life. That's the ultimate end.
No, they won't do that, Robert. They won't do that.
You don't think so, Clarky? They wouldn't come into your house and say, Clarky, lube it up. Yeah. You're about to get her, buddy.
Yep.
Stephen actually carries lube in his in his little poofter bag thing,
The day they get rid of cash, John, completely is the day we're all fucked.
Well, we'll be dead by the time that happens.
Don't believe that, mate. All the supermarkets around here, Robert, in my small little town, is my small little hideout here. They're all wanting a card now. They don't want cash. They put signs up, don't know cash, only cards.
I went into one government department and for a document, and they said, "Oh, that'll be so much money." I pulled it out and put it on the counter, and they said, "Oh no, it has to be by card." And I said, "It's legal tender. This is an Australian government office.
Yep.
Because there's thieves in your office is not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm not paying percentages because I extra to an effing bank because you get charged because I've used a card because somebody in your office is a thief. There's the money, legal tender, give us the document."
Well, I was quite impressed, actually. Go on, John. Sorry. Go on.
No, but that turned into a blue, and in the end, a supervisor come down, which was actually a second-hand POM, that he kind of went, "Well, I wasn't relenting," and and then said, "Okay, we'll take the cash." But I'd wasted half an hour arguing with the bastards.
How they're working in Thailand now? Well, let's say go to a market and you want to buy a slab of steak or whatever you want to buy, and they hand you your phone and you scan that and then you put the money in straight into their account. Now that's all trackable. It really is. So if you go down to the sexy girl on the corner and get some business off her, it's all trackable. You go to the pub, they can know. Well, you're saying you got no money, but what were you doing in the pub? And we're giving you money for your pension and you wasted. Oh, fucking whatever.
Well,
it's going to be fucked.
What makes the best slave, Clark?
Sorry?
What makes the best slave?
A peasant.
The person who begs for their own chains.
Yeah, a peasant.
And that's what's happening, and people don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's right, John. Robert, that's exactly right.
No different to a monkey on a chain with peanuts. You do a couple of tricks and I'll give you a peanut.
Now, you go to this virus that was the one we had to have, you say.
The disease we had to have.
The disease we had. You couldn't use cash in my town. It was all cards. We don't take cash anymore because of the disease we had to have. And that's the start of it. Do you think to yourself, was that disease let go on purpose? Interesting.
But we had it here. People would have, when you finally got to the supermarket and all that kind of stuff, people would say, and especially a lot of the older people, they'd run it all through and they'd put cash down. They said, "Oh no, we're not accepting cash. That's dirty stuff." And they said, "Well, we just got it from out of the ATM, and it's legal tender." "Oh, we're not accepting it." "Well, fine. Put all your stuff back on the shelf. Stick it up your ass." And in the supermarket, there was hundreds of trolleys of food, just fuck yous. People walking out.
Even today, I don't know about America, Robert, but in our supermarkets, they've got self-checkout. You go up and you weigh everything and you check out and blah, blah. Is that traceable? Of course it fucking is. "Oh, you buy a lot of spaghetti, don't you?" "Oh, for fuck's sake."
That's why you get your ads. That's why you get your ads. Ads on your Google, on anything to do with Google.
That's right. Yep. That'd be right.
Little boy's room again. The gentleman back in the tick.
All right, mate.
Yeah, I think I'll do the same thing myself while he's doing that. I'm going to go take a leak.
All right, I can talk
keep him entertained, Clarky.
All right, no worries. What have we got going on here? Started back in the 80s with a debit card. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Look, a debit card can be handy, and I don't use cash. I haven't for probably 20, 30 years. I prefer the cards, but now and then you want to use cash. But the people that rely on cash, I mean, you look at a person that's 80 or 85 years old or whatever, right? They don't know how to use the fucking internet. They don't know how to use their phones to pay for things, It's fucking nuts. You go to the banks now that they what our banks are doing, they've only got a few staff there. So you've got to stand in a whopping great queue. Yeah, there's probably 10 people in the queue to go and do your banking at the bank. Now, all along that queue, they've got all these internet brochures to do this and to do that and to do this and how you do this. And yeah, good. Fuck, it's pretty fucked. We're all dead. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. But it often makes you wonder, you know, having a disease like the COVID and stuff like that, and was it all done on purpose to get rid of the cash? And I don't know. Blame the Chinese. Ooh. There we go. 16 watching. Ooh. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're trying to build up a channel here. You know, it's based in Thailand, but Thailand subjects, but you know, occasionally we'll drift up to other countries and have conversations. It doesn't hurt. You know, they're both out having a cigarette, I think. Anyway, I'll be heading off to Thailand in about a month. Johnny will be going over shortly. A bit of a party. Yeah, it's good to get over there. Got to say, sometimes when you've been over there for a while, you do miss home. Countries like that. So, I don't know the way it goes. But apparently it's all underwater at the moment. Yeah, well, one thing I've never done in my life is get into politics. When I look at politicians, I just think they're all full of shit, the whole lot of them. You know, they say vote for him, vote. One time I looked at it and I vote for. You know.
Well, one thing I'll point out about that though, Clark, is they've made stuff so absurd that people literally look for a way to get away from it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, I don't blame people for that, but that's the last thing we need right now.
Yeah. When was the last time, Robert, that you had a president that was you were all behind and you liked him? When was the last time? Can you remember?
I would say Reagan was close.
Yeah. I was watching something on Reagan the other day. He wasn't a bad friggin' president, was he? He was very smart.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the last half of his presidency, though, he was pretty much a vegetable. But the thing about it is, though, the side effect of that was prior to Reagan, California had predominantly been a Republican state. And Reagan was the big wake-up call for the powers that be that they had to find a way to, shall we say, institutionalize their way of thinking. And they did that through immigration in California, where no matter what, it will always be controlled by the politicians there now. And as much as Reagan did what he did, the side effect of that is you had a reaction from the actual controllers of this world to make sure that possibility didn't happen again. But unfortunately, for them, the anomaly of Trump come along, and I'll tell you right now, in 2016, they didn't think there was any way in hell that he would win. And now they've made it to where it's very apparent that they're going to do everything they can to make sure that he doesn't again.
Oh, yeah, you can see that. You can see that a mile away.
Well, think about this, Clark. You name me one time in history where you've known a candidate in any country, in the Western world. I'm not talking about communist countries, but in the Western world, who has literally had the lawfare thrown against him that he's had, the absurdity of some of the things that he's had, He's now had 2 active assassinations and 4 that they've stopped before they got to that point. Name me one time in history when that's ever happened before. And then name me any time in history when you look at the opposite side, where you have a presidential candidate that is the top running candidate for that party that never got 1 vote.
Yes.
You know,
I don't think if Biden had pulled out earlier of this upcoming election, I don't think she would have been voted in. I really don't think so.
Do you really think that they have the support that they claim?
No, I don't.
And that's the thing.
I don't look, Robert. I'm not into politics. So I don't really follow the politics in America very much. But you know what I've seen. I don't know. I wouldn't vote for any of them.
Well, therein lies the problem. Also, is they've made people so disgusted with the system that they disengage.
It's just the same in Australia. The system's fucked. I mean, I look at the politicians in Australia. I don't see anybody I really want to vote for. They're not. They just haven't got their feet on the planet somewhere. You know, I don't know. Usually, politicians, Robert, come from very, very wealthy families, and they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they come and look after these peasants. You know, the citizens of America, the citizens of Australia, and you know, they've never had to work. Not all of them, but you know, 90% of them, 95% probably. They're just in a fucking dream world. You know. It's like going back to fucking the Caesar. You know, I'm Caesar. You fucking bow in front of me, and fucking whatever.
I'll give you another one too. And if Deb's still in the chat, I think she can agree with what I'm going to say. You look at Trudeau in charge of Canada at the moment. Do you think that that wasn't designed years and years and decades ago by the people really controlling it? Because if they were to come in and be authoritarian right off the bat, obviously most people are going to fight back. So like you're having happen in Thailand, when everybody says, you know, it's free and it's all this and it's great and it's grand, but yet they're undermining themselves with the removable of cash. And the easiest, I'm going to assume that if the government were to go full authoritarian, you'd have a bunch of Thais losing their shit.
Yeah. Look, Robert, keep going. I'll just add a bit to that. And,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
In Thailand, they had an election, probably about 6 months ago, I think, wasn't it, Johnny? Johnny will probably know more than I do.
It was longer than that.
One party absolutely fucking rocketed in, okay? But they won, hands down. But they couldn't go into power. What was the reason they wouldn't go into power, Johnny? It was they couldn't vote in the Senate, which was owned by the military that was the previous government, and nobody put their hand up to let them come into the party. So the people of Thailand voted for this party to go in and represent and look at govern their country. They didn't get it. They got the people that lost in there.
They ended up with a government that the leaving government wanted, that they could still control.
That's right, yeah.
Absolutely.
And the whole part about it, instead of the last time the people.
Sorry, go on, John. Go on.
Yeah, the last time the people stood up against that kind of stuff is when the military junta took over, and the main road in the middle of the CBD and all that became a battleground. A lot of people died. The military came in, and the person controlling the military and all that, you know, ordering snipers to shoot the speakers and all that kind of stuff, kill his own countrymen, ended up controlling the country. And that arsehole piece of shit is still pulling strings. Yes, so what's the fucking hell is the good of an election when the government still that is not a a communist government. That's a dictatorship government.
Exactly.
Let me put it this way, Robert. The deputy prime minister in Thailand is from the party that lost. He's now next in line. How the fuck you want to actually, Robert, you want to look it up, the elections in Thailand. It's fucking nuts. Really is.
Well, but see, that's why.
It gets back to with Trump and all these trumped up fucking charges he's on. I mean, they're trying to get him out and with all his bullshit. I don't believe any of that shit he's been charged with. But he's got to go through the process. He's got to go to court. He's got to do this. He's got to do that.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck.
And the man, you're more right than you know.
Yeah. Can I just go back to Deb's comment? During the disease we had to have, and it's been coming along for a long time, a lot of young people that really didn't grow up with cash, they always had a card and it's sort of touch and go stuff. They find themselves in a debt situation because what I grew up with, and Robert and Stephen and a lot of older people, is you got paid in cash, and what was in your wallet is what you had to spend. If you didn't have anything in your wallet, you didn't spend it. But with this touch and go and all this kind of stuff, people don't realise what they're spending. And yes, the banks are making a fortune out of it because you touch the card, it's going to cost you for using that card. So the banks are making a fucking fortune out of it. And that's another reason why I'm against not being able to use cash. Every government department I go into that I've got to pay something, they always say, they push the card thing across and I hand it to them in cash. And I know how much it's going to be, and it's always correct weight, correct money.
Johnny, the whole world will end up that way.
And the whole thing is, by the time it does go that way, but if you take travellers and you've got no cash, you've got to use a card, then the banks are going to make even more money. Oh, international transfer fees and fucking screw you on rates and all those kind of stuff. The only ones that are going to make it is the bankers. And who's the bankers? There you go. That answers the question. Where's all the problems come? You know the answer.
The things that you're pointing out, though, when something I want to correct you on that you're saying, Johnny.
Go ahead, Robert.
We'll all be dead by then. I don't think so.
Far away, Robert.
I don't think so.
They'll starve us into submission, Robert.
Well, let me ask you this. Tell me a year prior to COVID coming out that anybody could see that coming. And then tell me that when it did come out, anybody could see that what the government's reactions were going to be to the extent that they were.
Well, here, for instance, in this wonderful state, they wandered through their government offices and they found a bloke that had a doctorate, not in medicine, and then went down to the, what do you call them, the thrift shop or charity store, and got a couple of coats and that because, he only wore jeans and a T-shirt and they had holes in them. Propped him up in front of a camera with a script of what he had to say, as though he was a medical doctor. He was not. And he was supposedly making decisions about every one of us. He wasn't even qualified. So in other words, just a puppet. And every country had their puppets. Every state's had their puppets. And that's why I say the disease we had to have to gain control.
Well, but as my question was, though, was that on anybody's radar prior to 2019?
No. It was one of the best. It was one of the best done ones. Now there was some conflicting reports. They said out of Wuhan in China had escaped from a laboratory.
Excuse me, gentlemen, for a second. I'm going to close it down in about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, John. So, and Robert, can you just wind it up?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right.
You know, the whole thing about that is the US, a lot of countries blame China. The Chinese come out and they said, bullshit.
Well, they all had their fingers in it.
The Chinese said,
right.
no,
That's right,
we
John. That's right.
have just finished doing a military exercise with the US. And we've got a whole lot of people that are crook for some reason. And you're saying we released it from our lab. There was a lot of conflicting stories. I'm starting to go with the one the Chinese were saying.
Whether it did or didn't is irrelevant because it's readily apparent that they all had their fingers in the pot.
Oh yeah, well,
Exactly
especially when it kind of hit Australia, and we have a big facility in Victoria, and it's called CSIRO, Commonwealth Research Organisation, yeah, or whatever. Anyhow, and you know, this disease hit, and they went, oh, that's such and such, bang, you know, they knew what the bloody thing was.
Absolutely.
And I thought,
and it was proven. That was one of the things that they hit me for because I used their own documents against them.
Yeah.
Well, as you well know, they took me down midstream many times.
Yeah.
For just showing I never once, ever did I ever produce anything on my own. I always use their own shit. And that's the part they couldn't fucking deny.
Yeah, well, that's also the part that they don't like. You can't use their own shit against them because they hate that to be proven wrong.
Okay, gentlemen, home time. You stay there, Robert. Don't go anywhere. Go backstage. Thanks for coming on, Robert. And thanks for Johnny for your input tonight. We'll close it down now.
I'll send you a bill at the end of the month.
Will you? I'll send you a rubber fucking check. All right, thanks for coming along, guys, and good night, chatters. Bye-bye. Stay there, Robert.